have with you. This is not the kind of document that the politician normally puts out. It will be a A5 sheet, which is what I have put out also. At the, we go and distribute this at the Pola and the railway station, etc. But this is serious reading for people like yourself. This is just a summary of the white paper that will be presented to the next parliament if we are elected. And we plan to have a broad discussion with the various parties, political parties in parliament, political parties outside of parliament, business, civil society, and then agree on a game plan, agree on a policy as Sri Lanka. Where do we want to go? How do we want to do this? What kind of investors are we looking for? Do we need the casinos? If we need the casinos, where do the casinos be? If we don't want the casinos, what shall we bring in? How do we do it? So this is for the first time since this year's white paper. We are presenting a white paper, and that white paper will be a discussion paper. I guarantee you that if we are in government, I will ensure that there will be broad consultation, and I have the explicit agreement with the Prime Minister to do that, and we come up with a plan that you and I, the opposition, JVP, and all of us together, civil society, agree a plan for this country. Everybody is criticizing. What is this, Harsha? You guys are fighting, you say do one, they do something else, right? Why are we in this mess? Everybody is asking that. You meet or drink somewhere, or at a Banagidara or a Danagidara, everybody is saying this. So what are we doing? Right? So this is something that I, as a part of a much bigger team, are trying to achieve. So here we talk about the government's role in the social market economy. How do we build successful institutions? I mean, that is one of the key points that we have to emphasize, right? Reliable, competent, and accountable institutions is the bedrock of all other aspects of the social market economy. Institutions must work, right? They must be depoliticized, right? They must be efficient. They must be accountable. How can you have institutions that are politicized, are not accountable to anyone, totally inefficient? Like if that is the structure, the basic, the foundation on which you build, then your businesses, your enterprises are also shaky. You don't know when some politician comes and changes something the previous politician did. It doesn't even have to be a change in government, but it can be a change in the person running the ministry, right? Changes suddenly, for instance, the expropriation bill, for instance. No, whole capitalist society is built on property rights. So you have to have the rights to your property, right? And suddenly overnight somebody brings a bill that is called urgent bill within 24 hours, and they nationalize your business, they nationalize your enterprise, they expropriate your assets, and you don't get anything back. You can't have things like that happen. And I've been arguing that one of the reasons that we have not been able to really break through that ceiling in terms of bringing FDIs to Sri Lanka are decisions like that have been made where investors have become completely disillusioned. Then about strong market structures. We believe in competition. We really seriously believe in competition. Competition wherever possible, right? And competition doesn't have to necessarily be in the market. Competition can be for the market. For instance, people may say utilities. You can't have two people competing to give you an electricity connection or a water connection. But you can have concession agreements, and those concession agreements can be given out based on a competitive bid process for that market. Meaning, if you win the concession, you will be able to provide the utility for a particular area for a particular period of time. And then again, perhaps you can relook at it in 3 years or 5 years or what have you. Kind of like the Legos that provide or that compete with the CD and things. I'm just making just a general observation and assessment. Then another very important factor is building a fairer society. For instance, public services, right? Public services, transport. Some of us once got into the train from Maranduram. I am telling you, that lady who was just with us, a regular lady going to work, in fact before that, the train that was Hatai Banahakoti or something like that was cancelled. So then everybody, they were all waiting for the next train. The next train came to the station. It was jam-packed. It was full. And there were so many people trying to get into that train because the previous train got cancelled. Right? And people were just shoving themselves into the train. And the lady, right, just in front of us, her sari came off. Right? And then some other man who was a fellow passenger wrapped the sari around her. And then she gave her bag, I think that was her lunch, through the window to a person sitting inside. I mean, this is disgraceful. If this is the kind of public service we are offering, and we are saying we are a middle-income country, that, you know, we have Lamborghinis and Porsches and what have you that people drive around in, and you just go outside and see the kind of agony middle-class people face in dealing with that daily, you know, business. It is appalling, right? So how do we improve public service? How do we improve transportation? Getting a child into school, I don't want to start healthcare, right? So what are the responsibilities of government? And what are your responsibilities as private sector? Can you just say it's not my fault? How can it be my fault? You know, I'm just only here to make some money for myself. Don't talk to me about public service, right? That is your business. You go figure out how you're going to do it. I'll just deal with the politician who's going to help me. You know, give him some, and then I will be okay. That is not what we require from the private sector, as a responsible private sector. We, in terms of taxes, like we're the lowest in the region. I don't know if Nandalal knows if we're the lowest in the world, at 10.07% of GDP in taxes. And that's how much we collect in taxes. 10.07% after the rebasing, before the rebasing, 10.7%. So how many, I mean, whose responsibility is to pay taxes? Government's responsibility is to provide a level playing field. Tell you, look, taxes should be low and stable. But it is your responsibility to pay taxes. Right? And then it is the government's responsibility to use those tax money for the benefit of the people. So that's the responsibility of the private sector, and also social market economy talks a lot about workers, rights, tenure, all of that. How to make sure jobs are sustainable. I was on a debate the other day called Pratipati. The first time they've done it, they called 3 politicians from the 3 main parties and some professors from the University of Colombo, Pathfinder Foundation, etc. asked us questions. And one of them asked about, the issues in labor. You know, people are on manpower contracts, etc. You know, how are you going to make sure they get permanency in their jobs and all that? So the simple answer to that question that I gave was wage has to be equal to marginal productivity of labor, foundation, you know, economics 101. The problem is the government dishes out 10,000, 20,000, 40,000 jobs at a time. Right? I mean, are those really sustainable? Do what kind of talent do you need? How do you improve the ability of the workers that you have? Right? So, and then if there's a mismatch, right, there is a contradiction between the supply and demand of the labor in the market, what do you do? What do we do? How do we do this together? For instance, I don't want to be critical of anyone else, but if you look at the priorities of the previous government, I see a lack of focus, lack of priority in putting money to train our young people, give them the abilities that they require, technical training, vocational training, right? I was talking to somebody the other day about German tech. If you go to German tech, you come out of German tech, you can get jobs anywhere in the world. Australia, Canada, Europe. How many German techs did we create since the German tech? Pertinent question was. I said, I was speaking at a public meeting in Belgium yesterday, and this whole Chinese story came up, and I said, okay, forget Germany. Did we get together with the Chinese and set up 5 Chinese techs in Sri Lanka? We did. Not only we did, we never even thought about it. If we did, I'm sure the Chinese would have given us a grant, 10 times more grant than what the Germans gave up to set up German tech. So how do you push that? How do you work with us and make sure that is where our money goes? That is where your money goes, right? So the responsibilities of the private sector, coordination of the development of abilities and opportunities, that's what I was talking about, right? And something that we really have to think about is the agriculture sector. So many farmers are unable to make ends meet, right? They're in trouble. They can't pay their crop loans, they go out of business, they commit suicide. It happens, right? Why is that? It is because agriculture markets are not working. I don't believe for a moment that somebody can, stay in some room at some agriculture ministry and say, this cover, this and that cover, that cover. That doesn't work. I don't believe that works. I believe in markets. I believe that if markets work, agriculture markets work, then farmers will be better off. And for agriculture markets to work, information markets must work. You will not start on a new venture unless you have done a market survey, you see your projections, you do your feasibility. Farmers don't do that. This is somebody else, his neighbor puts beans, he puts beans. And everybody who puts beans price comes down. Or tomatoes, you see in the lanka, tons of vegetables are thrown to the elephants. Like, how do you deal with it? Like, that is because markets are not working. Do we have forwards markets, even for not for vegetables, but for pulses? Do we have some sort of options that you can buy, any kind of derivative for these guys? So really the issue there is we have ignored an entire segment of society. And I actually asked this question from bankers, insurance companies, finance companies. Some of you, most of you are brilliant. And you create instruments for rich people to multiply their money. But how many of our brilliant financial engineers have come up with instruments that are required by the farmers? Ask you that question, because that question needs to be asked. So those are the points that I want to emphasize. So we are really